Come on. Okay. Um, I'm not getting a message that I'm live. Okay. Let's get going. I assume everything's working. I'm getting kind of a strange message here. Okay. Um, I have come to better understand you, my audience, and and please let me know if you cannot hear me. Um, 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 uh, can you hear me? Let's make sure that I've got a good connection here. Uh, Waiting for a yes from everybody. I upgraded my operating system on my computer, and sometimes not everything will work afterwards. Uh, can you hear me? Yes, excellent. Okay. I've come to better understand you, my audience, because of whom you are. Every prediction I've gotten for my Professor Slots business from YouTube experts has been wrong. Uh, you know, just put out good content and millions of people will come to your channel. Well, I did, and millions did not show up. So why not? Let's go over and cats are playing with each other, and so why not? Let's go over why so many who would be helped by my educational slots content aren't watching it. Now, I love my audience, and I think the size of my YouTube channel is doing great. But I don't have a million subscribers. No slots channel does. After many years, our leader, Brian Christopher, I checked today, only has 633,000 subscribers. And to help you understand, Mr. Beast has 187 million subscribers. Brian Christopher's latest video has gotten 56,000 views. And Mr. Beast's latest video has gotten 122 million views. So, okay, all slots channels are small, not many subscribers and views. That understanding is like looking at the Kashada 24/7 hand pay data of the last 16 months and realizing how rare winning a progressive grand is. 16 months and 103,000 hand pays, of which 30,000 are progressive jackpots, isn't enough to know how often progressive grands win. An audience member has shared that her 45,000 or so grand had been growing for 4 years before it hit, according to the casino where she won it at. What I mean is, thinking you can grow a slots channel to have over 1 million subscribers is like winning a progressive grand. But it was hard for me to give up pursuing both. Yes, if you want to be successful at both, that's what yes, if you want to be successful at both, that's what you and I need to do. Give up on some things. Do you want to win at slots? Let me share this. Do you want to win at slots? um, Take my fundamentals slots course, 30 days to play slots smarter, and win. It only costs $97, far less than it should cost, but I wanted to price it within the range of most. And maybe you yourself have taken it, but most of you have not, which is okay, because I've accepted that most don't understand why they should, despite my explaining the reasons time and again. It's not frustrating. It's not about making money, despite my Professor Slots business not being a charity and monthly bills like rent need to be paid. It's about helping you win at slots and leave with your winnings. That's my passion and purpose. And most slots players would rather spend and lose $100 at the casino than not go once and instead take 30 days to play slots smarter and win. Like everything in my fundamental slots course, that's just the facts. And I've come to accept this. But why won't slots players make a minor investment in their slot machine gameplay hobby? It's simple, really, because slots play is thrilling. Casinos are adult playgrounds with flashing lights, booming sounds, and fantastic demo bonus wins being shown on slot machines not being played. And I can't seriously compete with that. I mean, I've had people tell me, well, maybe if you got more red-faced and more upset and yelled at your audience. I'm like, that's not really me. Again, I'm not disappointed or frustrated. I'm a physicist. We look at the world the way it is, not what we want it to be. An electron is an electron, which doesn't care if we don't yet understand it. If our thinking is wrong, then our result, our experiment, is also wrong. And when we find out where we're wrong and discover it's because an electron isn't behaving like we thought it would, it's our thinking that needs to be changed. This may seem a little weird, and I assume it is to most, but it's the basis of all scientific knowledge. Yes, I know this discussion is getting a little deep. Don't worry, I won't continue with the 3 types of truth: scientific understanding, personal opinion, and propaganda. I'll just say that scientific understanding of slots isn't a favorite topic of slots players. Personal opinion is much more preferred, and those personal opinions are strongly influenced by casino propaganda. And again, that's okay. It's not like it's ever been any other way. Sure, table games that use card counting picked up some math skills, but otherwise, gaming is optional and gaming is opinion and propaganda. Yet, reasoning and logic are what helps you win at slots and get those winnings home. So I will continue to fight the good fight as the only educational slots channel. I've noticed how so many of you have grown in understanding in the last year or so. I'm really proud of you. Like Jill, who said during the last live stream something like, who knew I should walk around the casino beforehand to see if it's a good time to play because others are winning. These are hard adjustments to make. I realize that. It takes time. My cats are running back and forth. These are hard adjustments to make. I realize that. It takes time. Casinos are so dug into your brains that it's hard to kick them out just enough so that you can think for yourselves. Propaganda is like that. Why do you think it's so hard to leave with winnings instead of chasing and chasing and chasing wins until it's all gone? If you've started to think for yourself again, consider taking my fundamentals slots course, 30 days to play slots smarter and win. It's only $97, which is probably less than you lost the last time you were at a casino. And don't worry, it's not hard to take. Even your grandmother Pearl would have no problem learning from it. And if you've taken so let me share that. So if you go to professorslots.com, there's a tab right here, courses sign in. And if you click on that, you'll come into my courses. And here is 30 days to play slots smarter and win. So let me show you what that looks like. And here you can see the introduction, section 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actually, if you click the show more, 6 and the 7, the bonus stuff. And if you open each one of these, it's 124 lessons, 3.5 hours of video content. And you can see the various steps. You can get the free preview about the main goal of the course without buying anything. And then day 1 starts here, why winning at slots is possible. Day 2, what it takes for you to win at slots. And each of these days has tasks and resources. Maybe it would help if I were to make this a little bigger. Let's see. How about that? Right. And so you can open each one of these up and you can see what is under that. So this is a lot of material, but it is only a total of 3.5 hours of video content. And it doesn't take 30 days to take, but you might want to have a couple of casino trips in between, not to spend money, but to look for what I'm telling you to look for. So you can see it for yourself at your casino. Yeah, so day 3, slots definitions. So we all speak the same language, the basics of slot machines, manufacturers, where do these machines come from, the difference between commercial casinos and tribal casinos, and that's the end of going over the basics. And later I will have slot strategies, but there's a lot to go through before that. And logic and reason. And if you've already taken that course, you can also consider taking Slots Labs. This is my advanced course. It's my flagship course. It has 6 weeks of lessons and assignments where we meet once each week in a Zoom meeting. For a little while there, I had a different app besides the Zoom meetings, where I would say, just send me a message, send me a video, send me a audio, send me a message, and I will answer it in 10 minutes or less. On my way to the grocery store in an Uber. I'll be happy to answer your questions as we go. And people didn't like that so much as a meeting once a week for a Zoom meeting where we're all together. So I switched back to having weekly Zoom meetings. And that's my course. It has 6 weeks of lessons and assignments where we meet each week for a Zoom meeting to go over your questions and concerns. And I give you 16 months of Kashada data, hand pay data. Have you heard about that? I would hope so. This is Kashada. It's a casino in Louisiana. You can go to slot machines, and then you can, if you go to there, click on this little slots jackpot icon, and it'll take you to hand pays. So this is today. Let me see if I can highlight it properly. There. So this is today, and I had made it big so you can read it there. This was today. It's Central Time, so it was 4:37 Central Time. Somebody won $1,544.10, which, because it doesn't end 0-0, it is a progressive win on Dancing Drums, the prosperity version of it. Prog, PRP. That means it's a progressive machine. MD means it's multi-denomination machine. In Louisiana, there's a gaming requirement, gaming regulation that they need to, they provide monthly returns, including by slot machine denomination. One of the 20 states provide returns. 7 states provide them broken down by slot machine denomination. And that denomination, if it's a multi-denomination machine, is actually the lowest denomination on that machine, not necessarily the one the player chose. So it's complicated, but you get it. And if you click on the little map thing, you can see where it is in the casino. Not too far from the smoking area. High limits is over here. Poker room's there. And that's its location. And then if you were to click on anything starting with HD, let's see if we can find one, HD, then it's going to show HD is the high limit room, and it'll show you where it is in the high limit room. Now, the hand pay data is useful for anybody going to Louisiana, to Kashada in Louisiana. But the progressives, we can understand how the progressives are being used there's limits, and we go through all that. It's just startling stuff. Nobody's talking about it. But I go to the machine, click this button, you'll see on your machine at your casino what I'm talking about. And in any case, with this Kashada data, the progressives are actually talking about the settings used at your casino. not just at Louisiana, because it's coming from the slot machine manufacturer and telling the casino what they should have, and they tell all casinos what they should have. There's a few exceptions. I see Margaret, Magpie 11 is here, and she knows some of the exceptions, but because exceptions always exist. And so if you have this data. Now, this data is right here, it's how many pages? 30, 45, 60, 66 pages. See that? 66 pages of Kashada data. That's only 1 month. That's 1 month of data. The next time they upload these and provide data, it's a couple times a day, then a month ago will drop off. So make sure you start collecting this stuff now. I talked about it last week's live stream, how to cut and paste all this and put it into a spreadsheet. But it's only 1 month. If you start collecting it now, in a year, you'll have a year's worth. Because as I was saying, if you want to know how often progressives hit, you can check to see when's the last time that machine had a progressive grand that was paid off. That was, and you can check how long, how many months, how many years. So actually, but you can only check this last month. So I've been collecting it with help. Thank you, Texas Tootsie, since May last year. So as part of the course, part of Slots Labs, guys, they look like they're having a lot of fun, but not in front of the camera. Sorry. I'll see if I can't get them over here in a few minutes. So this is 15 months. Coming upon 16 months is available in Slots Labs and analysis with it. And that's part of what's offered with my Slots Labs course. So if you go into it here, the next course is beginning next weekend. You can sign up for it now. But be aware that I only let 20 people in, because everybody gets individual attention, and you can't do that in a Zoom meeting with 100 people. So I will close registration, and you'll have to wait. Somebody will take your seat. I'll close registration when it hits 20 people, so that everybody gets individual attention. It's 7 days away. Yep. 7 days, 14 hours. That's when you want to register for this. The first Zoom meeting is 9. Why does it say 9 a.m.? I need to change that. 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday, August 9th. So we meet at 9 o'clock Eastern at night in the evening on Monday. I also have a Slots Labs. It's about 4 weeks into it, which is on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I also have one that's in its first week, which is actually starting its second week tomorrow, which is on Tuesday night. So I'm running these staggered with different start times, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay. So, yeah, and you get the data, and that's what's available. So I have a donation. I wanted to thank Magpie for her donation. Thank you so much. It is very much appreciated. This is a super chat for $19.99. And Magpie 11 says, "Good morning, everyone. I also want to thank my moderators for their support and moderation during this live stream. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. And so this live stream is also your opportunity to ask Slots questions. Today's topic was inspired by your questions from past live streams, comments, questions, and conversations with you, or the latest in news. If you have a question, start asking it now. And thanks to my moderators again. Be sure to like this live stream. I'm trying to influence the YouTube Central server. Not just casinos have them, and trying to get more people to come to the live stream as I'm having a live stream. So if you like the live stream, subscription is not required. In fact, it hurts if I even ask for you to subscribe. But if you would, please like this live stream so it would help draw in more slots enthusiasts by signaling the YouTube Central server algorithms like it's your favorite local casino. The more, the merrier. So let's take a look at your questions and see if you have anything. Let's see. Thank you for everybody who answered my question. I had a bit of a snafu with my start software. What is going on is I upgraded my operating system and everything has to be checked. So if you go to professorslots.com and click on here, you can see courses sign in. You'll see all my courses, including the free one. And these are video courses. Slots Labs is, I will be there for you once a week. And there's also a community where you can ask questions if you don't want to wait. And then 30 days is take it at your pace. It's all recorded videos, and there you go. Yeah. Loud and clear. Thank you, CSX. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Texas Tootsie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, the audiences are very different, but the size is what's going on. And we can talk more about YouTube analytics, but I think mostly you want to talk about slots, which includes analytics. Shawana, hello. Miriam, hello. Good morning. Oh yeah, I am getting there. I have these live streams once a week. What is this? My 219th, I think, or is it 220? I'd have to look it up. Have it every week. Been doing it for years, and I can see over time the improvements in my audience. As I mentioned, Jill last week was saying, "Wow, I walk around the casino before I play to see if I should play. When did this happen?" It's exactly what you need to do. It's not hard, but who else does this? The next Slots Lab is available to sign up now. It is there. Slots Labs beginning October 8th, which starts a week from tomorrow. And it meets on Mondays, as it says here, 9 p.m. Eastern. I will change where it says 9 a.m. Immediately after this live stream. Let's see. Texas Tootsie says I will be joining the 10-8 Slots Labs. Thank you. She also says we appreciate everything you are teaching us. Great. And let's see. Lapston, hey, welcome. It says well worth the price. You're in it now, and you're asking lots of questions, and it's awesome. Keep asking questions. Yes, people will take the live streams on Slots Labs. I upload them afterwards, so you have it forevermore. For as long as I have this business, you will have access to that, and you can watch the recording again and again. Same is true with 30 days. Now, I will be updating 30 days because I like to do that every year and a half, just to make sure that every little detail is up to date with the latest and greatest. Like, for instance, in the last year, we've had a lot more bonuses. There's not much to say, but I want to make sure I'm aware, make sure that the content is like fresh. Yeah. And yep. Labston says I'm in Slots Labs now. Question from Shawana. I've come to the reality that I need a coach in different areas of my life to obtain what I want out of life. Learning to play slots is one area of my life. Professor Slots is a good coach. Um, Thank you. And thank you for your comments earlier today on the membership group, which you get a 1 month free with 30 days so you can ask questions. I enjoyed your comment there. Thank you. So he was asking, these live streams are a chance for people to chat with one another, and it's been going on for some time. Yeah. It's lovely that people are able to, this is a community event. And so the boss, I think he or she is raising their hand. Ask your question. It would be helpful if you were to, I'm going to put a little banner here saying when asking questions, put hashtag question at the beginning. This helps me find or identify the question because there's a lot of back and forth chatter between people, and which is great. But sometimes I'm like, I want to make sure everybody has a good experience in this live stream. And so I'm like, okay, where's the question? Where's the question? Magpie 11 answered Jan's Texas Tootsie, whose name is Jan. She had asked the question, had any big wins lately? And Magpie 11 said, I had a good session early this morning, won some grocery money. How about you? Hi, Cheryl. I'm sorry you had trouble getting into the live chat last week. It's kind of tricky sometimes. I recognize that. I try to make all my courses like so easy. My grandmother Pearl, as my grandmother was named Pearl, could take it. Magpie 11, she's answering her settling into a new home, have been gambling much. Yeah, and congratulations on the new home and good luck in settling in. Yep. Johnny says congrats too. And Linda's here. Hi, Linda. Welcome. Johnny's here. Hello, welcome. And Slots of Fun says, thank you for all this data. Some may stop calling it the Kershada. Sorry, the emoticon emoji that you used didn't show up in the comment, but I can see it in the live chat. That's awesome. Let's see. Have I ever played in Pennsylvania? Yes. If you go to my Professor Slots page, you can type professorslots.com/rivers-casino-Pittsburgh. I did not at that time, because it was harder, did not ask for permission to record, and wasn't doing that yet at that time. But I visited Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh, and I just talked about what I did, player's card, high limit room, what I saw, pictures I took from outside. That's what it looked like at the time. There's I think there's another photo. There's a long comments here. Feel free to take a look at it. I'll put it in the live stream, in the live chat. Be careful not to click on this and move to that and get out of the live stream. You want to right click and new tab, that sort of thing. So let me put that link for you there. And it is, I took a panoramic view and it's a little small here. Make it a little bigger. So you can see Rivers Casinos over there, Carnegie Science Center, Hertz Field, PNC Park, downtown Pittsburgh. that the USS Weekend submarine on the Ohio River and Fort. I'm terrible at French words. With the fort, and yes, and so it's near all these sites. Yeah. And you can cycle through where I've been. The next one in this series is Ameristar St. Charles in Missouri, and that's a riverboat casino. And so I have a bunch of reviews that I share. And so, okay. Now we have a cat. You climbing up there okay? Okay. Safe and sound. Yes, I have played in Pennsylvania. I used to travel to a vendor there when I was working in Ohio, and I would. We good? Okay. So in the evening after work, I'd go to local casinos, and that's how I was able to get to a bunch of them out east before I moved to Reno about a year ago. Okay, so Johnny has a question and a donation. Thank you for your donation, Johnny. Have you noticed a decline in payouts anywhere since the pandemic? I haven't. If you want to take a look at, again, Professor Slots, let's see, Nevada. That I've done a bunch of them, but not enough of them, but a bunch of them. And there's 20 that I could do, and I think I've gotten about halfway through them and kind of got caught up in doing other stuff. So, but it illustrates, this is state data, and it's not all the state data. Otherwise, it'd just be a bunch of things. Right. So let me make myself small. Yeah. Okay. That ball is dead. You know that cat, right? There's another one over here you can grab. Okay. So this is Nevada. It is only 6 of the 27 districts where they offer returns by district. They don't provide it by casino on the Las Vegas Strip. They talk about it. They talk about what is the return to player for the Las Vegas Strip overall. There's a breakdown by depending on whether the casino, how much revenue the casino gets. So you could dig into this further. Again, this is just showing you what you could do. And the pandemic was here because everything closed for like a month and a half, 2.5 months, something like that. I think it closed on March 8th and then opened on June 18th. And so you can see some dips here, which are very interesting. And if you dig into this, if you go to Nevada, this tells us what returns are, how the returns are low at the beginning of the month and before the 8th, and after the 18th, they're high. So within a month, which normally we don't see because we have the entire month, within a month, we see here what's going on. So the average month that we get here is combination of what happens in the first week and what happens in the rest of the month total. So anyway, this is detailed stuff. You can see up here, that's Wendover, Sparks, Reno. You can see what I like to call daylight between these two. I always thought that downtown and Las Vegas, I thought downtown was better than the Las Vegas Strip. And the blue here is downtown and the orange is Las Vegas. And they kind of go back and forth from one another. The Las Vegas Strip is a little more stable, and downtown kind of has highs and lows. But these are the payouts. These are player win percentages, and there was some fluctuation after the pandemic, but it's all sort of settled down, and that was 2020 up until about October, and then it all sort of stabilized again. There are a couple of things. You see these bumps here. You see that bump there? That's actually January. There's a bump here, but they all bumped, and that's January. So January is when they raise the odds. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm answering your question with facts. That's what I do. Yeah. Steve, hi, Steve. Let me go back to my main page and show you my products. Right. Steve says hi. John, Paula. I'm not sure Paula is here. She's been having some things like work events. But all the moderators absolutely playing right now, and you're on the live stream. Get back to playing at the Inland Casino in Harris, Michigan. So far, 3 jackpots, 2 for me and 1 for the wife. Wonderful. Live as we go. Keep us updated during the live stream. Pinta Black, someone who's been following me for quite some time. Morongo Casino in California is going to reopen their freshly remodeled high limit room soon. Should I expect any big jackpots? They might be trying to be successful. It's just the usual sort of thing. If they were putting it in a hotel, or if they were putting on a entirely new building, then they're going to need to get money from players, to pay for all of that. But remodeling a high limit room is small potatoes. What you might want to see is there was a remodel of the high limit room at Atlantis Reno this year, and they took everything out and they put everything back in, and all the machines didn't change location, and they stayed the same machines. So I figure they probably changed the wiring, something to do with the infrastructure. And because I thought, hey, they're taking everything out, what's it going to put back in? Put everything back where it was. And so freshly remodeled, okay, but how much of a change are you seeing? Is it being expanded? Is it a different layout? Because sometimes what happens is it goes back to being what it was. As we learned. Hey, Jill. Jill's here. I mentioned you earlier, Jill. Last week you showed Kashada Return to Players, but I can't find it at Hollywood. Oh, no. There are only 2 places that provide returns. Casino returns. One of them is Kashada in Louisiana. I mean, there's state returns, which is not win by win by win by win. Hand pay data comes from 2 casinos. One of them, Kashada in Louisiana, which we can use anywhere if it's a progressive win. The other one is, where am I at? Is Hialeah Park. Can you see this? Make myself small again. Hialeah Park in, is it Miami or Fort Lauderdale, Florida? And they provide the current jackpots on progressives only for the day. They say the September 29th. It's actually, this was the same yesterday. So this is actually September 28th. When this is updated in a couple of hours, they usually do it around in a couple of hours. It'll say September 30th, and it'll be yesterday's progressives. And you can see these machines, which I used to record this data every day. It's not the same as the Kashada data. It'll say that jackpot was won on these 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 machines. It started at 100,000, and it was a $125 bet with a $25 denomination. The progressive one was 113,667 on a Royal Reels. But some of these machines I never heard of before. Lightning Lotto, again, a group of machines, $1 bet on a $10 denomination. Lightning Links, okay, we've heard of this. Diamond Lotto, okay. Liberty Sevens, I think I heard of that. Okay, Dancing Drums. And so this is the other website, casino website that provides some information on hand pays, but it's daily, and it's not as useful as the Kashada data, because in the Kashada data you have a timestamp on when exactly it occurred, time and day, the amount. The machine ID, which is different from the location ID. There's two numbers on the machine identifying what machine it is and where it's at. It's used by casino employees to make sure they're working on the right machine. It has the title of it, the denomination, and the map. So exactly which machine is it. That's a carousel, no doubt, of many of these. And so you have to actually go there and see which one has the label 2709. Now, I've been to Kashada and I've taken a bunch of video, and I have permission to record there. So I have taken gigabytes of data, of video, to share this with you. And I could see if I walk by it holding my camera, and can tell you about that carousel. But it basically, you're looking for 2709 there on that carousel. Yeah. But again, hand pay data is good for anybody going to Louisiana. Progressive jackpots, the line hits are good for going to Louisiana. The progressives are good for anywhere, because we're learning what the casino, what the slot machine manufacturers are telling Kashada, which they also tell all other casinos, including yours. Yeah. CSX says, check it out for sure. Yep, there you go. After first couple of days of new month, a good time to go to a casino. It depends on the state. We can see from the Nevada data that it is not a good time to go to the Las Vegas Strip and downtown. But it's okay in Wendover and Reno and Sparks. So it really does depend on your. It doesn't take much to go. I mean, if you go at the beginning of the month and everybody's winning every beginning of the month, then you know. I mean, it's not universal. There's very few things that are universal. If you play a table game, if you play Texas Hold'em, you can play Texas Hold'em anywhere, and the odds are the same. Why? Because the rules determine the odds. That's where the math comes from. And so any state, as long as it's identical game, as long as it's Texas Hold'em, then you know what the odds are. But it's not the same for slots, because slots are state law, and every state is a little bit different or a lot different. Yeah. Even within a state, if it has both commercial and tribal casinos, they're under different gaming regulations usually. So you can't don't walk into a casino, figure out how to win, and then say, wherever I go, I will do this. Whatever state, whatever country, do what I did to win at my home casino. Because that's table game talk, not slot machine talk. Yeah. Cheryl says, does winning a winning slot have a time limit on being a winning? Absolutely. It's called a casino budget. They set it to turn on with higher odds, and they set it to turn off, turn down, raise the odds, lower the odds, raise the odds, lower the odds. And they don't do it because you sat down at the machine. They do it because they've seen people come to their casinos on a Friday night where it's a hot night, and that's different from a raining night. It's different from a winter night, and they know what to do, and they set it up 2 weeks in advance to do that on that highly visible machine. They record what you've done. They don't keep your name on it, but they look at that and they plan what to do. It's all automatic. Yeah. Uh, Sonia says, I used to win jackpots all the time using some of your methods, surprisingly, that I came up with. Also, oh, yeah. The 5-spin method. I didn't invent it. It's been around. I saw it in the 1963. I mean, I didn't see it in 1963. I was born, but I wasn't paying attention, shall we say, in the first season of The Twilight Zone, called Franklin, I think it was, or Fever, something. I think it was called Fever, and it's the one where Franklin, wife's calling to the husband, and there's a slot machine. And I saw it on the. You ever watch Columbo, the trip where he's on a cruise and he solves a murder? There's a little bit right there where he's like, "Hey, when those slot machines, they pay out immediately and then they don't," and I'm like, 1960, mid 1970s. I did not invent the 5-spin method. Yeah. Whatever the personal motivation is for those, I mean, I know what it's like to be feel threatened. I as a PhD, where is it? Up there. Let's see. That one is the PhD in engineering, aerospace engineering. There are people who get a little upset when people I used to work with who got upset about my knowing stuff. At higher and higher levels, when you do specialized things, people don't like it when they feel bad about themselves. You know? Yeah, if they don't believe they can win. See, I tell people how to win, and one of two things happens. They get excited. Oh, there's comments on my 5-spin method. Oh my God, it works. And I'm like, yeah. What did you think I'm talking about here? And they're like, no. And I've had people show me their vouchers and they're like, see, it works. And I'm like, yeah, I know it works. What's your point? They're like, oh, and the point turned out to be, after I asked questions, that nobody else would believe him. Even when they stood next to him and he did it, and they're like, no, what you're doing isn't happening. Nah. And it's like, okay, because if you're not happy, one of the other things that can happen is you feel bad. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I'm not making them. They feel bad about, oh, I didn't see this myself for 20, 30 years of slots play. So they get angry or whatever. Yeah. Hey, I don't believe it's possible to win, and therefore I won't win, and things won't change. And we all live in the 90s. Wasn't that great? And I'm like, I lived through the 90s. It wasn't that great. But people say that now. Yep. I don't understand people. I understand machines. Why do this? Why does a slot machine pause for some kind of memory check? There's memory checks going on all the time. What's going on? Is the machine being rigged to not pay? No. We would prefer everything to run smoothly. This live stream had a little hiccup at the very beginning. Why? And also, there can be updates on a machine to put in patches, because otherwise, it's not like they can do it after the casino's closed, most casinos, because it's always open. If it's a big patch, if it's a software update, a new version, then they take it out of service for a few minutes. Have you seen that? But the check, you have to have periodic checks to make sure that it's much better to have a little pause than it is for you to win a jackpot. The slot machine attendant comes over and says, "Oh, that hand pay was invalid." There's a little note on the machine saying it has to be checked, and if it was invalid, we don't pay. And then you go on social media, and they've got a public relations problem, as they should. So yeah, memory checks all the time. Yeah, and I'll have you know, I had a professor once who mentioned to me, and just real eye-opening moment was, computers. Uh, we don't know 100% how computers work. We know technology, but we just put it together so that it works most of the time, and then we sold it. And some things are like, we know it good enough. And that also is science. We know it good enough to make it work most of the time. I was in flight safety in aerospace, commercial jet engine manufacturer, and military jet engine manufacturers, 2 different companies, did it for decades. And I worked on safety, and we want flights to be safe. But are they always? Well, as Superman said in that first movie, still the safest way to fly. Safest way to travel. Airfare is still, flying is still the safest way to travel. Yeah. It's when you start looking into some of the science behind things, it's a little scary. Like, I thought we were better than this. Nope. This is as good as it needs to be sold. Difference between science and engineering. I can, as a physicist doing an engineering job, I had to stop when we ran out of money. Oh, now this has become a little scary. Welcome to my world. Jill says, thank you. You're welcome, Jill. Jackie says, first time joining. Any thoughts on gaming emporiums? Yes. So you're talking about a lot of these are historic horse racing. This is based on, Rosie's, based on prior horse races. I have gone to Kentucky. What was it? Derby City and Red Mile, where they have historic horse racing. They don't have slot machines. They have historic horse racing. It looks just like slot machines, but is not. They're based on prior horse races, and the position of each reel is the position of a horse in a race. And so there could be like one bet, and the reels on the screen, or each reel is based on the result of a race, could be 35 different races if there's 35 different symbols, 7 by 5. And so I found that highly visible machines you can win on, but it was hard to win a lot next to the bar. I played $100 for like 3 hours, and basically broke even. I walked out with $100. I'm like, well, I got a lot of comp points. Maybe I went up a tier, and so that's what I've done. Thank you, moderator Jan, Texas Tootsie. I happened to see it. It's they're scared. A little personal. I come from a family where if you succeed, that means somebody else doesn't. It's not true, but and that's what I've seen at work. If you're doing well, then I'm not, and it's like we can both do well. What the heck? And it's just scared and stress and worry and yeah. People. I like machines so much better. But I'm getting to know people. Shawana, thank you. And this is a super sticker, and the little symbol is KO by Hippopotamus, cartoon hippopotamus. Um, uh, Pinta Black says science is simply man's explanation of how God's creations work. Right? If you get enough into science, you'll see where it's pretty clear. It's not deterministic; it's probabilistic, and so. I found God in science, but let's not necessarily get into that topic. Yep. Yeah, Jan, Magpie 11 is talking to Jan, Texas Tootsie, about congrats on the house. Yeah. Well said. Johnny says, I had attendant come and take out the whole reel after a $20 bill got stuck. Yes, some of these like lift up, and the modern ones, and I had a paper jam and I documented it. I put it in one of my first demo videos, kind of like recording it. I couldn't record the person's face, the slot tech's face, and I should have recorded the whole 20 minutes, but instead I just recorded a little bit of it, and they just trying to get a screw loose and trying to get the right screwdriver to get the screw loose so they can move the ticket once they opened it up, and ticket printer once they opened it up, to be able to get at the crumpled up voucher, which eventually came to me in 3 pieces. But I took it to the cashier. They said take it to the cashier, and I took it to the cashier, and the cashier cashed it out for me. Yeah. Stuff like that happens. I'm glad I'm recording now to sort of record everything. Yeah. Open book tests. Yep, I remember giving open book tests. Physics tests of students are you need to know it because you don't have enough time to look it up. Thomas Wall, why do people go to casinos and constantly complain the entire time they are there about how they hate casinos? It's their thing. It's their stick. It's what they talk about every time. Like me and my father talking about weather. Oh my goodness. So many weather conversations. It's just habit. What else they got? Possibly nothing. Yeah. People. And people are great. I love my audience. They're wonderful people. But people do what people do. And I think of slots players and casinos. There's so many things going on where they're being affected by the sound, the flashing lights. Machine you're walking by is doing a demo mode of the biggest bonus, and it's winning big time on the bonus, and not like you would get that if you were winning that bonus. It's just showing that it's just like they're influencing us. There's brain chemistry things I talk about in Slots Labs just to explain what endorphins do and what other things do and why we're chasing wins, and maybe that'll help people understand what's going on with those environments. Because in the environment, that's where we're being influenced, and if you don't know it, then you're more susceptible than you might otherwise be. So that's it. If I seem a little rattled, I spent 6 hours in the DMV on Wednesday, and I'm still recovering. And I think I'm kind of feeling the snuffles a little bit too. Well, I should know in a couple of days if I caught anything. That's it. What a great live stream. I'll see you next Saturday at noon Eastern. In the meantime, I highly recommend you watch this demo video on Atlantis Casino in Reno, Nevada. It's show and tell time. Take care. Bye.